Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we will look at two other aspects of a binary operation, and we'll start with existence of identity. So let us assume that star is a binary operation on S, and if there exists an element E in S such that A star E as well as E star A is equal to A for all elements A in S, then E is called an identity or identity element in S with respect to the operation star. So firstly, there is no guarantee that there will be such an element. So if there exists an element like that, and if it exists, it should be importantly inside S. So if there is an element E lying inside the set for which both equations are satisfied, A star E should give you A, E star A should also give you A, and this should happen for all elements in S, then E will be called as identity in S with respect to the operation star. In other words, identity combined with any other element of the set should give me that element, and it should work from both directions, from the right as well as the left. If only this equation is satisfied, I'm not sure about the other one, then this is called as right identity. And if only this second equation is satisfied, then this is called as left identity. So basically, an identity is going to be both a left identity as well as a right identity. So let's look at a few examples to understand this better. Consider the set of natural numbers and look at the operation of addition on this. Give it a thought. This is a binary operation on the set of natural numbers. Question is whether this set has an identity with respect to the given operation. So I do know that A plus 0 is 0 plus A, and that will always give me A for every natural number. So I know that 0 does satisfy this equation from both sides, left as well as right. So every element combined with 0 under this operation always gives me back the same element. However, there is a catch here. The element 0, though it satisfies all our requirements, it is falling short of just one, and that is a crucial one. 0 is not an element of n. So the set of natural numbers with respect to addition as such does not have identity. However, if I look at the set of integers with respect to addition, then same thing applies, and now 0 is an integer, so 0 becomes identity, our usual number 0 becomes identity in Z with respect to addition. Similarly, in the other sets of numbers that we have studied, that means rational numbers, real numbers and complex numbers, for addition 0 is identity. So let's now come to the operation of multiplication. What do you think is identity? Firstly, whether it exists, and if it exists, what is identity in this set with respect to the operation of multiplication? So we know that A into 1 is 1 into A, and that is equal to A for every natural number. Every natural number multiplied by 1 from either side is always going to give me back the same element. So in the set of natural numbers, identity with respect to multiplication is 1. Notice that for different operations, we are going to have different identities on the same set. Similarly, on the set of integers, rational numbers, real numbers, as well as complex numbers, the number 1 is going to be identity for multiplication. What other operations have we studied? Yes, we also had mentioned earlier that subtraction is a binary operation on Z. So now give it a thought. What would happen to this set with respect to this in terms of identity? Does Z have identity with respect to subtraction? So give it a thought, then get back to the video. I know that a minus 0 will always give me a. But remember, the equation has to be satisfied from both sides. And 0 minus a is not always going to give me a. There will be at least some elements for which it is going to be equal. It's not going to be equal to a for at least some of the elements. What I mean is, if a is 0, then of course it will be equal to a. But for all other elements, it will be minus a, which will be different from a. So since it does not work from the other direction, in Z, there is no identity with respect to subtraction. Then the other sets that we studied are set of all matrices of order m by n with respect to real entries, and we take the operation of matrix addition on this. We know that this is a binary operation. Now question is, what is identity in this set for addition? Well, we have the 0 matrix, which we denote by capital O. Take the 0 matrix of the same order so that it belongs to the set. And now we know that if I add any other matrix to the 0 matrix, I am going to get back the same matrix. And therefore, this becomes identity in this set with respect to this operation. Next, we look at set of all square matrices with real entries, and this time I take the operation of matrix multiplication. And with respect to matrix multiplication, again give it a thought. What could be identity? Remember, elements of this set are all square matrices of order n with real entries. So yes, we have the unit matrix or the identity matrix. This is the matrix which has, it's a square matrix of order n. It has 1 along the diagonal and 0 everywhere else. So, and we know that any matrix in this set multiplied by the identity matrix is going to give me back the same matrix, and therefore identity in this set is nothing but our familiar unit matrix or identity matrix. Next, we look at the set of residue classes of integers modulo n with respect to the operation of addition modulo n. Again, think about it. What could be the identity in this set? Remember, residue classes contain equivalence classes. So it will have n elements in all, 0 bar, 1 bar up to n minus 1 bar. Look at the element 0 bar. 0 bar is surely in Zn, and if you add 0 bar to any other element of Zn, then we will get, by definition, a plus 0 bar, which is the same as a bar. This works for all Zn, and I can also prove that 0 bar plus a bar will give me a bar. Of course, I don't need to prove that, because if you remember, I have already mentioned earlier that this operation is commutative. So if this works, the equation the other way around is also going to work. So in Zn, identity for addition modulo n is 0 bar. Next, let's look at Zn. with respect to multiplication modulo n. And once again I want you to think about this. What could be identity in Zn with respect to multiplication modulo n? We know that 1 bar is in Zn. Of course, I'll have to assume that n is greater than or equal to 2. Then I know that 1 bar is in Zn. And what happens if I multiply any element of Zn with 1 bar? We have learned multiplication. It is a multiplied by 1 bar of this, but that will always give me a bar. Again, multiplication is commutative, so I don't need to worry about the other way around the equation. That will also be satisfied. So in Zn, for multiplication modulo n, 1 bar is going to be identity. These are all the standard examples that we have seen so far. So we have discussed identity for most of the examples that we have come across so far. For some of the non-standard examples, we'll wait a while. Let me introduce the next concept now. That is existence of inverse. So let star be a binary operation on a set S. Of course, I'm assuming S is non-empty, and let E be identity in S with respect to star. So firstly, star has to be a binary operation on S, and there has to be an identity in the set with respect to the operation. Only then I'll be able to talk about inverses. So let take a specific element A in S. If I can somehow find an element B also inside S, I'm not saying that there will be such an element, but if I can find such an element inside S such that A star B as well as B star A gives me identity. So again, equation has to work in both directions. A star B as well as B star A has to be equal to identity. Then B is called an inverse of A in the set S with respect to star. So firstly, make sure before you talk about inverse that the set has identity, and then for a particular element A, if I can find an element B which satisfies both the equations, A star B should be identity, B star A also should be identity, and finally and more importantly, B should be an element of the same set, then B will be called an inverse of A with respect to star. We will discuss a few examples, the same standard examples that we have seen for identity, and now this time we will look at inverses. We'll do that in our next lecture. Thank you for now.